In a couple days, I will be watching the early screening of Fate's Strange Fake. And if you already know me, then you know I was at the world premiere of Episode 0, Whispers of Dawn, back at Anime Expo, I believe 2023, as well as the premiere for Episode 1 during the Fate 20th Anniversary Showcase last year. And speaking of the 20th Anniversary Showcase last year, I literally had the chance of getting, some of you guys will think I'm crazy for this, I literally had the chance of getting Rin's voice actress's autograph, Saber's voice actress's autograph, as well as Sakura's voice actress's autograph. All three of them, the main original three heroines of Fate. I could have got their autographs, but I decided to get the Fate Strange Fake director's character designer, as well as Yuki Ono, who's the voice of Saber from Fate Strange Fake. I decided to get their autographs, and not gonna lie, a part of me is like, damn, should I have done that? But I decided to follow my heart, not only as a Fate Strange Fake fanboy, but a Gilgamesh fanboy as well. So you can only imagine how excited I am that the anime is finally, and everyone's saying it, finally getting a weekly anime series this coming January. And based on a lot of people's reactions online, it seems like many of you guys aren't aware that it's coming out in January. I don't know if like the advertising's just bad or you haven't been keeping up, but for the past, I believe 2 months ago, I believe back in September, it's been confirmed to be coming this January, I believe 3rd, and it's gonna be a proper TV anime weekly series. And we're already so close to it, I doubt they're gonna delay it any further, but I understand that some people are a little bit skeptical because it has been delayed a couple times, a handful of times throughout the past 3 years already. And like many of you, I was also disappointed and really at times angry that Strange Fake was getting delayed. I was worried that they were gonna drop the ball with what, in my opinion, is the peak of all Fate. And to be fair to the studio's defense, they made it clear several times that they want to put out an anime that they are going to be proud of. And I'm sure some of you are like, oh, well, okay, of course, every studio says that, every director says that, every animator says that. But I'm willing to believe A1 Studios and the directors more so than any other studio, just because if you look at the original sneak peek from 2022 for Whispers of Dawn and compare that sneak peek to the finished product that came out in mid-2023, if you look at them side by side, you can tell that they made several visual changes and, in my opinion, improvements. Because originally, Whispers of Dawn was supposed to come out at December 2022, but then they delayed it until July of 2023. And it was apparently delayed because of production issues, because they wanted to put out a product that they are going to be proud of. And while the situation isn't exactly the same and there's a lot of different factors involved, I can't help but think about what happened and what is pretty much still happening with Season 3 of One Punch Man. I'm sure you guys have seen the clips, all the memes out there. To go from Season 1, which, keep in mind, Season 1 was 10 years ago, to what One Punch Man is right now, the drop of quality needs to be studied. I mean, it absolutely has to be studied. And again, I know the situation's different, I know the studios went through changes, but if I'm not mistaken, one of the biggest factors to One Punch Man Season 3 having all these animation issues, all these visual issues, is because apparently they only had 1 year to complete the entire season. And if you know anything about animation, especially quality animation, 1 year is just not a realistic time. And I know there's a lot of independent animators on YouTube, online, who have recreated some of the scenes from Season 3 and basically made them a lot better, a lot more visually appealing. But I would argue the comparison isn't really fair, since a lot of these independent animators online don't have to answer to any bosses. They don't have to answer to any pressures, any deadlines, or anything like that. But besides the point, I guess what I'm getting at is, even though I was disappointed and angry that Strange Fate got delayed a couple times, after seeing what happened with One Punch Man Season 3 and how it was essentially rushed, I'm kind of glad in a weird way that Strange Fate did get delayed. Because at this point, I'd rather they take their time with it and deliver us something that's great, rather than something that's going to be embarrassing, going to be memed out, that's going to ruin the legacy of not just Strange Fate, but pretty much Fate, because we haven't had a new Fate anime in years. Obviously not counting the more lighthearted and comedic Fate spin-offs like, you know, Grand Carnival and stuff like that. The last TV anime series of Fate was Babylonia, way back in 2019, ending at 2020. It's been 5, almost 6 years since our last Fate TV anime. So I believe them, personally. I believe them when they said, when the studio and the directors said that they want to make Strange Fate look as good as possible. Because let's face it, a lot of us, our expectations are through the roof. And when I say us, when I say we, I'm talking about the people who know about Strange Fake's story, who have read the manga, who have read the light novel. Like I said earlier in the video, some of us call it peak Fate, literally one of the best Fate spin-offs, one of the best Fate stories ever. And while I'm not expecting UFO table level of crazy, mind-blowing cinematic animation, just looking at episode 0 and episode 1 of Fate Strange Fake, as well as the recent trailers that they dropped, personally, I'm extremely optimistic about the anime, at least from a visual standpoint. Because speaking of the latest trailer, assuming that you saw it, the trailer teased the fight between Gilgamesh and Saber. And if you don't understand the significance of this, that fight doesn't happen until a little bit later into the story, I believe around volume 5. And unless there's been a new updates that I'm unaware about, it was implied by one of the directors that there's only going to be 12 episodes. Now I'm hoping it's like season 1, 12 episodes, and then they move on to season 2 maybe sometime mid next year or late next year or whatever, and it's another 12 episodes, and then we get more and more, because 12 episodes is not enough to cover all of Strange Fake. It's impossible. And that's like the only thing that has me worried, because if the latest trailer is teasing all these crazy fights, all these crazy interactions like Gilgamesh vs Saber, like I said, which doesn't happen again till later in the story, and if they're only planning on releasing 12 episodes, at least for this first season, if they are gonna have multiple seasons, then either they're gonna make some episodes like hour-long spectaculars, which I wouldn't be opposed to, you know what I mean? Or they're gonna rush it, which obviously I don't want them to do. In fact, there's even a worst-case scenario. Worst-case scenario, they change the story completely, and I definitely don't want that. And listen, when I approach an anime, when I watch an anime and I'm aware of the manga or I'm aware of the source material, whether that be a manga, light novel, or visual novel, I go in with the assumption of they're definitely going to cut some stuff out. They cannot include every single minute detail from the manga, from the light novel, from the visual novel, and adapt it to 100% perfection. No matter what, things will be cut out. If you look back at Whispers of Dawn, for example, all of the backstory of Gilgamesh's original master was cut out. They didn't reveal anything about him. But at the same time, it doesn't really impact the story. Knowing his backstory, knowing his goals, knowing what he's trying to do, knowing his personality does not matter because he literally dies within like 10 seconds. So as long as they just cut stuff like that out, that's pretty non-essential to the story, I'm okay with that. I'm open to that. Again, I go into every anime with that mentality. Like, some stuff are going to be cut out. As long the essence of the story is intact, then I'm good. But again, if it is only going to be 12 episodes, which is insane to think about, so either they're going to rush the story or just change it altogether, which either scenarios I don't want at all. Because at the end of the day, and like I said in my Fate Grand Order gameplay video, in the end of the day, what makes Fate great, what makes it successful, is the story and the characters. And if they butcher the story of Fate Strange Fake, which again, to a lot of us who've read it, to a lot of us who know about the story, it's one of the best Fate stories out there. And I just hope that they don't drop the ball with it. I hope that new information comes out saying that, yes, it's going to be 24 episodes for the first season, and then another 24 for a second season. I think that would be the ideal scenario. 2 seasons, both 24 episodes each. If they want to do 12 episodes for the first season and 12 episodes for the next, then I guess that's better than just 12 episodes and that's it. But ideally, I would want 24. Heck, you could even go longer. The longer, the better, as they say. Anyway, I guess that's my thoughts on this subject matter. It was kind of just a random video I wanted to put out there because, man, I am very excited, but at the same time, very nervous because I seriously don't want to get disappointed by this, because this is pretty much the #1 Fate spin-off, the #1 Fate story that I always wanted to see animated. I didn't expect it to get animated, at least this soon, because again, the last TV anime series was Babylonia, which is heavily about Gilgamesh, heavily about Enkidu. So what were the chances that the next TV anime was gonna be Strange Fake, another Fate story that's about Gil, that's about Enkidu? To me, it's crazy that that just happened. At least for me, I just can't believe that they did that. And I guess speaking of that, if you guys have seen my Babylonia reaction reviews from 5-6 years ago, I will be doing the same thing with Strange Fake now, although I don't know if I'm going to start from the beginning with Whispers of Dawn, because I already watched that several times, as well as episode 1 several times. And it's going to be tricky, because again, I'm going to the early screening in a couple days, which is going to not only have episode 1, but episode 2, 3, and 4. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to do like a separate review, but not a reaction to them, because obviously I'm not going to do a live reaction. They're going to kick me out. But I guess at the very least, when episode 5 starts, when it's new content to me, or at least newish, because again, I've read a little bit of the manga and a little bit of the light novel, I guess I will start my reaction and reviews there. And I hope you guys will join me in this journey of experiencing either peak Fate, faithfully adapted, or, God forbid, the most disappointing Fate ever. And I'm hoping it's not the latter, knock on wood. Either way, I hope you guys are looking forward to me reacting and reviewing the episodes. Anyway, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and comment down below and let me know what your overall thoughts are on the Strange Fake anime. Did you enjoy episode 0? Did you enjoy episode 1? Have you read the manga? Have you read the light novel? And pretty much any thoughts you want to comment down below about anything that I've said in this video, I guess. And of course, subscribe to me, the main character, because without you guys, I'd be the only character. I need supporting characters. I need a supporting cast. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.